It's time for breaking bread with Papa. Hey, don't you know? Hey, it's sourdough. Hey, it's time for breaking bread with Papa. Hey, don't you know? Hey, it's also a show.
Hey, everybody, welcome to another edition of Breaking Bread with Tom Papa. I am Tom Papa. Thank you for joining us for another great show. Today, we have an amazing chef, Kwame Onwuachi. He is a great new chef. He's got a great new book called My America, Recipes from a Young Black Chef. So good, so talented. He's got so much going on. Not only is he super talented, not only is his own memoir, now he has his own cookbook. I also found out in the middle of this interview that he has a little comedy chops as well. We had a great conversation. He's just very fresh, very innovative. The recipes in this book are perfect for this time of year. There is a lot of fish stuff, a jambalaya idea. He's got this great influence from Nigeria and Louisiana and the Bronx that is his unique American journey, and this is the food that comes from that journey. I just liked him so much. You're going to really like the conversation. I'd like to thank the good people from Every Plate. Every Plate. Life is too short for boring dinner. Now you can get all the ingredients brought to your home and keep your taste buds happy with an ever-changing seasonal recipes and a variety of meat, seafood, and veggie options. Skip the store and let Every Plate plan, shop, and deliver everything you need to cook a delicious meal at a consistently low price. Try Every Plate for just $1.79 per meal by going to everyplate.com and entering the code PAPA179. That's everyplate.com, code PAPA179 to get Every Plate for $1.79 per meal. That's up to a $104 value. Good, fresh stuff delivered to you with recipes and ideas and the meals, and you just put them together lickety-split, and you've got good, healthy food that you're going to enjoy, and it's a good variety. Thank you, Every Plate, for coming on board. So Kwame Onwuachi, he is super talented. I think you're really going to love this conversation. And now here we are, heading into summertime. I had over Memorial Day weekend, we dusted it all off. It's funny how you kind of like relearn what you did last season. The grill, a little ratty. That one part of the grill that lets flames just shoot up into the sky, still haven't fixed that. I have a little outdoor fridge, open that up, still some White Claws from the last party we had, probably a Labor Day. It's time to dust it all off. But we made some really great stuff too. We had corn on the cob was great. I don't know if we live in a world where corn on the cob is only going to be a late summer thing. I'm sure the East Coast corn, that Jersey corn that you get in August, is going to be better. But the stuff that we had, which in California in the end of May, beginning of June, pretty damn good. So I'm not sure how much of the world we live in that's seasonal. I think probably your bang for your buck is going to be following the seasons, but we cranked out some corn and put a little Mexican street corn to it, a little cheese. Like we substituted the Mexican cheese with feta and some lime and salted up. Holy cow, so good. And then I've got a big veggie family, so that grill is short-lived because you're throwing veggie dogs out and veggie burgers, grilled vegetables, that's all good. But then, of course, you sneak in the nice hot Italian sausages, get those on a roll, the dogs following me down the stairs. I have such fun watching Frank the Pug. He knows now if I just take out the metal tongs, he knows it's grill time. and he does not leave my side. It is like a cartoon. He just gets at my side, and it's like he's saying, we're doing this, right? This is going to be, okay, we're going to the grill. All right, and then we, like, as soon as I start heading out, he books it down the stairs, out to the yard, waits at the grill. And then he knows I go out there, turn the grill on, have to come back in for the supplies. He knows the routine, running up the stairs, waiting for me in the kitchen as we're putting it together, because he knows if he plays his cards right and shows enough enthusiasm, he is going to get some of that meat. And that is the one time when the rest of the people in the family who he knows are not connected to the meat world, he wants nothing to do with them. Nice big hot Italian sausages on rolls. It was nice. It was a good start to the season. And then I made this biscotti, which was, holy cow, this might be my new bread, by the way, because it's so hard to ship bread to my loved ones, to bring it around. Biscotti, which, is the Italian cookies, twice baked, hard. If you don't know what they are, I assume everybody does know what they are, but when I was breaking them out over the last couple of days with people who were visiting, there were a couple of people who had never had biscotti before, so I can't assume that. Perfect, like these longer kind of cookies, hard. They're perfect with coffee in the morning. The New York Times had a chocolate chili biscotti. Oh, Dutch cocoa, chocolate, cashews, roasted cashews. What else went in it? Of course, your salt and your flour and stuff like that. And some ancho chile powder. So it gives it a little bit of a spice, a little bit of inspired by Mexican mole. So good. So then you make that into just a dough. You just put it into the thing and you just mix it all up. A couple eggs, you get it all going. It makes this sticky dough. You split it in two. You flatten it out. You bake that for 20 minutes at 350. Then you break it out, let it cool for like 3 hours, and then slice it into the individual biscotti shapes. Put those back onto the sheet, face up, and then you double bake it. You bake it a second time for about a half an hour. Oh, Nelly, so good. And they last for over 2 weeks if it's in a sealed container. So if you're keeping it around the house, you've got your coffee situation set up for the next 2 weeks. Perfect. And very easy to ship to your loved ones. So I feel like if I can dial this in, this is a good bread offshoot that could be, I feel like this is a good way to spread this baking experience without having to like try and get a loaf of bread out by FedEx for $75 immediately from it going off the cooling rack. So I recommend you look it up. It's the ancho chile biscotti recipe. So good. And then let's just dive into summer. Let's start breaking out these things and get your own Frank. I recommend you get some hot Italian sausages, adopt a pug, and go to work on the grill. All right, let's jump into it. This is a great conversation. Kwame is such a rising star, a bright light, just showing off the diversity of American food. He has got, you just look at this, that's what's so great about this country, is that you have all of these different influences. You take a kid who spent time in Nigeria, the Bronx to Nigeria to Louisiana to the Bronx. There is just that influence, which is uniquely American experience, I guess, except for the Nigerian part, but his starting from here and going there and coming back, that slice, what Kwame has at his disposal of his American experience is going to be so different from somebody else from a different part of this country, which is so wonderful. You're just going to see the recipes and see the life, and it's just joy. There's just joy, united feeling, and I hope you get that from this conversation. So enjoy now. Kwame Onwuachi. Again, the book is My America, Recipes from a Young Black Chef. Thank you for doing this, by the way.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, where in New York are you?
I'm in Brooklyn and in Bushwick right now.
Ah, beautiful, beautiful. Well, congratulations on everything. It's such a cool ride that you've been on already in a very short amount of time. It's very impressive, and I really thank you for making some time for us today. Your book is very exciting. I got it.
Thank you.
I'm already intrigued. I love it in so many ways already. It's called My America: Recipes from a Young Black Chef, and I would like to start just to kind of set the tone. If you don't mind, I'm going to just read your dedication.
Okay.
For our listeners. You say, I dedicate this book to my mother, Jewel Robinson, for gracing my hand with the spirit of our ancestors. When a dish tells a story, it has a soul. You are not only cooking to achieve perfect seasoning, but you are also cooking to share a memory and an anecdote. Thank you, Mom, for keeping our history alive. That is really well written. You're a very good writer, by the way. Your other book is proves that.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Your mom, other than keeping you alive and feeding you and guiding you, what do you mean by helping keeping our history alive?
By continuing to share recipes, I think that's a way that a lot of people have kept history and culture going, is by passing down these recipes. And recipes are stories. Recipes tell much more than just the event that it's for, or the occasion. Mm-hmm. It's a snapshot in history at a certain point of time, and if you can continue to share that, it becomes a beautiful thing and an important thing.
Do you have her recipes written down? Is she the kind of mom that just never put it down in writing? My mother,
no
is
writing.
A really good cook, but we had to hold her down and make her write everything down.
Yeah, similar. It's a lot of little bit of this, little bit of that.
Right.
Just making it time and time again. She doesn't use recipes to make our treasured family dishes. It's more just like a muscle memory,
Right.
So asking her for these recipes is really just talking through her process mainly. Which is cool too.
Yeah. My like I said, we pinned my mom down and made her give us all of her stuff, and we wrote it down. Then my friend of mine asked, she's Italian, and we passed on her recipe for red sauce to my friend, and she called me and she's like, there's no amounts. It just says
tomatoes, onions, garlic.
Yeah, it just says all of these things, but it really is amazing how much. So you started with her she really was kind of your early inspiration, I would say, or just as for sure. Actually getting you, putting you to work.
Yeah, I mean, she started a catering company, from the house when I was 5 years old. So we had no choice but to help out. And, luckily for me, that chore turned into a passion. And it got me here today. But I definitely credit her with instilling in me a desire for the culinary arts.
That could have gone either way, really.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, a catering business, that's hard. That's a hard work.
Yeah, and then getting into the business that your parents are, it's usually you are essentially allergic to it, or you love it.
Yeah. Did you love it at the time, or did it take you a beat?
I did love it. I loved it. I mean, I could spend time with her, and I think that's what made me fall in love with it so quickly. But I think I had a natural knack for it. I come from a long line of cooks, so it was something if you can't cook, you're really not a part of this family,
Right.
So
yeah, the one impressive thing when you were talking about how you made you made a dish from food and wine when you were like 9 years old, which is kind of unusual to begin with. But the thing that really popped for me was that you improvised immediately,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Absolutely, yeah.
That's an unusual bold step for a kid to be like, no, I don't think. What was it again? Like you replaced rice with noodles or something?
Yeah, I replaced the noodles with rice instead. I added different sauces to it. I think I added a couple different proteins to it. So yeah, it was very strange for, this older chef to be watching this young, I don't know, I don't even want to call myself a cook at that time, but young person in the kitchen
Yeah.
taking a recipe and then making it their own. And I
Yeah.
think that's when she was like, okay, we need to start nurturing this a little bit.
Absolutely. That's just an innate thing, Kwame. I mean, because I love to cook, but I'm usually like double checking the recipe 5 times, and I kind of always want to be more bold and want to be like, just let it fly, just use your instinct. Uh, especially when it's something new, I really panic, and I'm just sitting there with my iPad, like
I
just
don't know
double.
why people do that. I
I
tell
know,
people
but
all the time, like, what can I
yeah.
do to be less nervous? I'm like, you're not on an operating table. It's this dinner. What's the worst case scenario? You order pizza. Like, that's also a great scenario.
Yeah, yeah, but you it's kind of like when people say to me like, how do you get on stage and tell jokes? I don't understand that. And it's like, well, it's just me, and it seems more unusual not to do that. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
for you, like at 9 to have that instinct, like, no, I'm bold and I can do this, and I'll make this work. That is innate. That's something that you probably just, I don't know, the confidence of just banging around as a little kid, maybe, or maybe it's just your instinct.
Yeah, I would say it's just instinct. And I've always been, I don't want to use the word bodacious, but a brave person. I
Uh-huh.
acted when I was a kid and I always got the lead and I was just like fine with it. If
Uh-huh.
there was any opportunity to have a dance off at a party when I was a kid, I was the first one in line. So I think it definitely aligned with my nature of
Yeah.
who I am.
Right, right. What age were you when you went to your grandfather in spent some time with him in Nigeria?
I was between 10 and 12.
Between 10 and 12. Yeah, it's it really is funny when you start piecing it together. It's like these young influence, like you're doing stuff at a very young age. So it's like, of course you should be the part of the 30 under 30 to watch. It's like you were very busy at 9.
Exactly. Very busy
so,
at 9,
so
sent
why
away at 10, you
yeah.
know.
Were you
Um,
sent away, or were you in trouble, or was
I
it
was in
just
trouble, man.
you were?
I think children of immigrants should petition, but should make it a federal offense to send you back, like without your consent. I didn't know I was going back for that long. I didn't have the means to buy my own ticket and get back
Uh-huh.
to America.
Oh,
She told
really?
me I was going for 2 weeks, and I was there for 2 years. So,
Whoa. What was it? Why were you in trouble?
I was veering off on the wrong path, which is like pretty easy to do, like
Yeah,
in the South Bronx.
right.
But
So she was worried about you and was like, let's
she,
just
yeah, she was worried about me.
right.
I was being more and more insubordinate and just hanging out until whenever I wanted to, and
Hmm.
that wasn't flying in her house. So
Right. Did it were you aware? Did it calm you? What was the effect of being there, and how quickly did it take effect?
oh man, it was a culture shock. I went from like
Hmm.
playing PlayStation to doing my homework under kerosene lamp. I went from
Wow.
taking the longest showers in the world to going and fetch my water and showering with a bucket and a cup. I went
Yeah.
from dropping off my clothes at wash and fold to learning how to get stains out of my clothes from the sun by hand washing them and hanging, them in the sunlight. So it was it was a culture shock, but it also taught me so many valuable lessons, to appreciate the things we have here in America, like running water, like electricity, and also like our food. We
Hmm.
couldn't just like pick up, you know, a cellophane pack of chicken, you know, that's like perfectly cut. We had to raise, you know, our own chickens and goats and things like that. So it directly correlated to my craft, which is great. But I think it also like helped me just be a better human being at the end of the day.
Was your grandfather a strict guy? Was he a loving
Oh
guy?
yeah, he was the chief of the village,
Uh-huh.
so he was very strict and very proud. You know, we
Uh-huh.
couldn't do many things that other kids couldn't do. So yeah, I mean, he instilled a lot of values
Mm-hmm.
in me of just like respecting yourself as well and carrying yourself in a certain way, which we had
Mm-hmm.
to do in that village.
Right.
And then
Was it?
school was totally different too. You know, I was a class clown back at home.
Uh-huh.
You did something to defy the teacher there. You were carrying a cinder block across the soccer field 8 times. You know,
Whoa.
if you got into a fight, you had to dig your own height. So like it was it was a it was a crash course
Yeah.
in getting your shit together.
Yeah. Wow, so valuable though. That's just to have those moments of like, were you frustrated? Were you like, I got to get out of here at first? And you must have been.
Yeah, I felt
Yeah.
betrayed in a sense, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I would never come home. Also, you know, 9/11 happened at that time. So I'm watching
Uh-huh.
on CNN these planes hit buildings where my mother works around there. So, and then
Mm-hmm.
we didn't have phones. So we couldn't just like pick up a phone and call. We had to like go to a call center. So it was,
Wow.
it was very scary for me, but it also made me the person who I am today. And I don't think I would be where I'm at if I didn't go through that.
What was the moment? When did you find out you were going back?
I don't remember, honestly. I
Mm-hmm.
know a date was set, but by the time I did find out I was going back, I'd already assimilated to life there. You know, I was in school.
Yeah.
I had friends. I had
Right.
gotten used to no electricity, and I looked forward to those, you know, cold baths.
Uh-huh.
So like it was like, oh, okay, I'm going home in 3 months. Cool, you know, like, but I'm gonna miss my
Right.
friends. So
Did you make good friends there?
I did.
Were you the funny one?
I would hope so. I think I was. I don't know if
Yeah.
they were laughing at me or with me, but I was definitely an interesting child, you know, being, um, from America in this like rural village in Nigeria.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think everything I said was funny because I had an accent, I guess.
You're right. So when you come back, you're like 12 or 13.
hmm
Uh, were you, how was the re-entry?
Oh man, I mean, the reentry was. I think I was like really, really respectful and good for about a month, and then I was like back to my old ways.
Oh,
Class clown
really?
again. Now I'm back in school. Class clown.
Uh-huh.
Getting in trouble.
Oh
Now,
no.
now I have a chip on my shoulder. I'm like, okay, you guys think you're tough out here. Try, walking around with no electricity
Uh-huh.
in a place where you can get kidnapped. So
Yeah.
I quickly got back into the things that got me sent out there.
Right. So when do you get right? What was it that
That's a good question. What date is it?
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure that. I
I'll let you
think
know when it happens.
exactly. A report. We'll meet up in LA.
Yeah.
You can assess for yourself. But I think when I really started veering, or getting back on a straight path is when I started taking cooking seriously. I think cooking really saved my life in that regard.
Hmm.
Because I was like dealing drugs heavily, was very successful at it. I was in school, but like just really focused on the wrong things.
Hmm.
And then, yeah, I dropped out of school and started working in kitchens. I knew that the criminal life, or whatever you want to call it, I guess it's legal
Yeah.
now. Now it's an
Yeah.
admired thing. Marijuana is very legal. So
Yeah.
should have stayed in the game. But I knew there wasn't a happy ending to it.
Hmm.
And I remember like seeing Obama walk across the stage and, become president, get sworn in. I just thought to myself, like, man, this black man became head of the, most important office in the world, you
Hmm.
know, defied odds, like,
Yeah.
what am I doing with my life? I can do anything I put my mind to. And I just started cooking, started as a
Right.
dishwasher, worked my way up.
What age was that?
That was 17, 18.
17, 18. That's cool.
Yeah.
And that's still in New York?
That was in New Orleans. I moved to New Orleans, or Louisiana. It was Baton Rouge, actually. And my mom had moved there when I graduated high school. She got a big chef gig. So yeah, man, I started just like one day at a time, taking it super seriously. And, I moved back to New York. I started a catering company, and that even, made things even more serious for me. And I realized I had some skills. So, I enrolled in the CIA and started my journey.
So you want to save on your grocery bill? Every Plate is going to help you do that. 25% cheaper than grocery shopping. And I've had that conversation here on the podcast a lot. You go out and you try and get these ingredients and you see it's time to start cooking yourself. And by the time you put it all together and have to get all the ingredients that you don't have around the house, it becomes sometimes more expensive than even eating out in a restaurant. I want you to try America's best value meal kit for delicious dinners that won't break the bank. Meal kits, they save you in time, they save you in money, and you don't have to sacrifice with every plate. You don't have to sacrifice what you're getting. Quality ingredients come pre-portioned to help you save money and reduce the food waste. Skip the store and let Every Plate plan, shop, and deliver everything you need to cook a delicious meal at a consistently low price. You can choose between 17 recipes that change each week and swap proteins and sides to your liking so you can switch up your dinner routine however you want. Life is too short for boring dinner, and you get sick of eating the same things over and over again, so they help kind of prod your creativity. Every Plate keeps your taste buds happy with ever-changing seasonal recipes and a variety of stuff that goes in. So if you're in a fish mood, you go fish mood. If you're in a tofu mood, you go tofu mood. Whatever you want, you dial it in, and Every Plate delivery comes with new extras to complement your weekly order. Get extras like Vanilla Delight cheesecake, sweet kale salad, garlic bread, protein bundles to take things up a notch. Every Plate helps experience more of your favorite things in life, saving time and money. They sent me a whole bunch of them. I got to make them. It was very easy, delicious, and there's times when I go big and I'm making stuff that's big, and there's those other times when you just want to order. This is kind of, for me, the middle of the road. In just 30 minutes or less, with no stress, you don't have to think about it. You just reach in, grab your next Every Plate, and you're in business. Try Every Plate for $1.79 per meal by going to everyplate.com and enter the code PAPA179. That's try Every Plate for just $1.79 per meal by going to everyplate.com and entering the code PAPA179. That's up to a $104 value. Thank you, Every Plate. You guys are going to enjoy it. Give it a try. What was that like? What was the schooling like? Like I always hear people talk about it, but I don't really understand. Like, yeah,
it's like military school almost.
Is it really?
Yeah, like you have to have your uniforms pressed and neat. You have to be cleanly shaven. I think they let you wear a beard now, but back then you had to be cleanly shaven every day. And we start off with fundamentals and learning like knife cuts and how to make stocks properly and sauces, and then we go to like banquet cookery or a la carte, cooking like proteins, full composed dishes, then we do some other classes, then we go off on an internship, or they call it an externship, and we go work in a restaurant for like 4 months, and then we come back and do more intense classes, and then you graduate, or you can do bachelor's and get a concentrated degree, either in wine studies or whatever. Sky's honestly the limit, and now they have a master's program too, which is pretty cool. Wow.
And what was like, when you look back at it now that you're at this stage, what was like what was the main takeaway from it? Was it the discipline? Was it specific skills? Did it turn you on that, like a certain part of it, like culinary wise?
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of takeaways. Definitely the discipline for sure.
Uh-huh.
And then there was the introduction to like the proper way to do things, like the proper way to sear things. You know, you when you have a natural gift, like a singer, for example, like
Mm-hmm.
or an actor, like yeah, you can be great if you're thrown into it, but when someone teaches you the craft, I
Mm-hmm.
think your knowledge, your appreciation for it, and just your overall skill, it sharpens.
Right.
So that's what I learned. And then I learned, the history of food, the history of certain dishes, the history of degustation menus, and things like that. So it was a great experience for me.
Right. The book is so good. It's such a like what's very cool about it is that it's My America, recipes from a young
Hmm.
black chef. And
Hmm.
it's it really made me think about the country as a whole,
Yeah,
because there could be you could have someone could write another chef could write My America and have completely different recipes in it.
exactly.
Right? It's such a cool thing in that regard. Um, and this is very much Caribbean influenced, the Louisiana part of it. There's two things though I wanted to, if I could just jump
Hmm.
in a little bit. You write really well about the pantry and the power of the pantry and the history of the pantry, and the two items that you talk about are house spice and ginger garlic. Uh, Ginger garlic, is it paste or ginger garlic
Ginger garlic puree. It's a
puree?
paste or puree, but it's a puree. That's what I
Right.
call it.
Explain. Tell me a little bit about house spice.
So house spice is the spice blend that my mom always had in arm's reach in the kitchen. It's pretty much like a Creole or all-purpose seasoning blend. It's just like her ratios,
Mm-hmm.
and it goes on everything. I mean, we put it in eggs, put it in rice, we put it on fish. She's put it on popcorn, um, but we use it as a base to make our family's recipes like etouffee and gumbo,
Uh,
crawfish pie. She makes these like sautéed shrimp with the lots of garlic and thyme, and
uh,
house spice is a thing that really takes it up a notch. But everything we cook, we
mm-hmm.
normally put house spice in. So I thought it was important to build a pantry. A lot of like Afro Caribbean dishes, um, they stem from a pantry. There was an
Mm-hmm.
act of preservation of building that stuff up, or even preserving them, like Italians do with tomatoes.
Mm-hmm.
So if you start with that pantry, a lot of these dishes become easier. But you can use these pantry items for other things as well to bump up the flavor in dishes that you know and love. I mean, if you put house spice in a red sauce, that flavor is just taken up. There's not
Right.
nothing is like super conflicting. If you're making a salad dressing and you put like Trinidadian green seasoning in it, the flavor is only going to intensify. So I thought it would be great to start with the pantry before you even get to the book. So you have this arsenal of sauces and spices and
Yeah.
marinade
Yeah.
that you can quickly at your disposal, and then they
Yeah.
last long. I've given like freezer times and fridge times for their shelf life,
Oh
because
yeah,
you
that
make
was
these
what it
things.
was. Yeah, I was going to ask that because a lot of times I'll talk to people and they're like, go through your spice rack, and probably half of that should be thrown out because it's been
Mhm.
it's been in there for so long. How
Exactly.
how long can house spice, if it's just in the pantry, not refrigerated? How long does that last?
I mean, I would say like a month or two.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty short
Hmm.
lived. And the ginger garlic.
I mean, it can last in the freezer for a couple months as well. In the
Mhm.
fridge, not so much, but in the freezer, it can last a bit of time.
And how
And
is
then you
that
can,
used? Is that used just to pop things up as well, or is that a?
yeah, it's a base. So if you're cooking anything that already has ginger and garlic in it, use this
Mhm.
puree or use that to marinate your meat, and it's going to inject so much flavor. Also, peeling ginger and garlic, that's a whole job in and of itself. So
Mhm.
if you can eliminate that and do that ahead of time, you're going to save yourself a lot of time when cooking.
Yeah, this is such a great way, Kwame, to start the book because there's so many times when you're like, "Oh, this dish looks amazing," and you'll get something off the New York Times app or something, and be like, "Oh,
Hmm.
that looks great," and then it's like, "Holy cow!" I mean,
Yeah,
just making, just getting the spices together and mixing the stuff. It's like,
a
it's
lot.
so much work. If you could just have it already set and, like you said, in your arsenal, it makes everything so much easier.
Hmm.
You talk about and I want to get back to I want to get to the cultural part, but I just because I love this line, I just want to say it because I wrote it down. When you talk about jerk and you say
Hmm.
that jerk is like an Instagram filter, it just makes reality better. It's
It's
so funny.
true. I have
Yeah.
jerk chicken coming to me right now from food delivery app.
Oh,
So
you do? Oh my
yeah,
God, it's
an
so good.
oxtail. Yeah,
Oh, and oxtail. Oh man, when I lived in New York, I'm from New York and New Jersey, and
yeah.
I'm in LA now for a bit. But we lived in Chelsea in one of our apartments, and there was a place around the corner called Negril,
Mm,
and oh my God, it was like real Jamaican food, and it
fire.
was oh my God, it was so
You eat it
good
every day.
every day.
Every day. It's just comfort. And that's what
Yeah.
I want to destigmatize these recipes. They're not exotic. This is as a kid, and people were like, "Why did you call it My America?" I was like, "Because as a kid, I knew I lived in America. I'm eating these foods, and what kid is like, what nationality is this dish from? Like
Mm.
it's just, I guess it's American food. I guess everybody eats this way until you go to your friend's house and you're like, what the hell is going on? So
Right.
a lot of these dishes are super comforting. And everybody has their like grilled meat dish. Every culture has their rice dish or their soup or stew. So yeah, I think this book will be a lot more familiar to people than it will be like just like very like obscure.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It really is the thing. Like I said, it's really this kind of it creates this sense of a celebration of the country in a very profound way because you're like, yeah, this is. I mean, it's such a vast, gigantic place. It's almost crazy that we're all in the same country. You know
I
what I
know
mean?
it's
Like,
so big.
yeah, I mean, you take the stuff just from Louisiana and you take all of that stuff and all of that influence from the Caribbean and from France, and then you mush it all together, and then you've got this part of America that is it's distinctly American. And then
Hmm.
you're going to say that that is the same place as northern Wisconsin,
Exactly.
right? Where there's cheese and white bread and mayonnaise and
Exactly. That's not
yeah,
my America. Not
yeah, yeah,
mine. We didn't eat the same.
yeah, exactly. But that's what's so cool about it. The what is the when you talk about My America and you write really well in the book and about how there are certain things and certain spices that come from that actually come from slavery or they come from struggle or
Hmm.
they come from you know uh, being in the Caribbean and being freed by the Spanish and living in the hills in a very rough way. It was almost out of necessity uh, that that a lot of these recipes and these things kind of came about. But why do you think tied into the history, but and also tied into just the flavor of it? What in your instinct, because you're very aware of the history of all of this stuff, why do some things last and stay relevant while others drop off?
I think because they're true. They're honest.
Mm-hmm.
These dishes are just honest. They're a snapshot in time of the history, and some of the stories are painful, but they also represent freedom and tenacity and
Mm-hmm.
willpower. And I think that's why some dishes they stand the test of time. And I thought it was important to talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
There's no Jamaican museum that has a picture of the guy who invented curry goat. You know,
Yeah.
like it's just been around because that's what was there.
Uh-huh.
You
Uh-huh.
had indentured Indian servants come over to Trinidad and Tobago, and with them came their foodways. You had you know goats that were prevalent on the island. They were very easy to raise
Mm-hmm.
and very sustainable. and those two things came together because that's just what was there, right? So
Right,
like,
right.
so I think that's what makes these dishes more impressive than somebody saying like, oh my God, I've created this dish, you
Right.
know, I
Yeah.
want credit for this dish. If anybody makes it, they're ripping me off, you know.
Uh-huh.
With these other dishes, like nothing is new under the sun, you know, and like
Yeah.
these dishes were formed because they just had to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what really makes them special.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That kind of ingrained. It's almost like it's telling a story, isn't it? It's like
Mm-hmm.
it's like this ongoing like evolution. I think about that with writing a lot. That it's like, you know, everything's been written about. Everybody's used these words before. Everybody's tried to convey something, kind of like ingredients, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like, well, then why keep going in a way? And it's because your people have passed it to you, and now it's your turn to translate it and fold it into today and your experience and put it out and continue the conversation, and then someone will pick it up from you
Exactly.
and move it along.
Exactly. And that's why I thank my mom in the beginning, because I'm just an extension of what she did to me. You know, this
Mm-hmm.
book is an extension of what she did. You know,
Mm-hmm.
yes, she makes gumbo and her gumbo is amazing, but she didn't create gumbo. You know,
Right.
she makes the shrimp stock from scratch. She makes her own house spice blend. You know,
Yeah.
she has her ratio of roux that she puts in there. And that's
Mm-hmm.
the way that she views food, you know. And
Right.
this book is just the way that I view food. There's nothing in here I'm like, I'm the creator of this one
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
You know, there's a couple of dishes in there that are from, you know, a couple of restaurants that I've done that have just been so popular, you know, and I'm showing the beauty of like Afro-Caribbean cuisine.
Mm-hmm.
When you break down the elements of it and then put it back together,
Mm-hmm.
you can have something really inspiring. But you know, I'm also not the first person to create a salad, so like it's like, you know,
Right.
it's so
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's a beautiful collection of recipes that tell the story of that speak for the inaudible or give
Right.
a voice to the inaudible.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. The the restaurant thing, you know, you've opened some spots and been successful, and when I read about you or just see you pop up on Instagram or and now the book, I personally am like, okay, how can I find him, go sit at a table with some friends and eat all of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What are your plans? Do you have plans? Do you think that are you contemplating your next move as far as a restaurant goes, or are you going to take a beat?
I mean, you know, I'm focused on the book right now and, you know, making sure it's out there. And then I have, you know, the family reunion, which is this food festival
Yes.
that I throw.
Yes.
Um,
First, tell me about the restaurant because then I have a question about family reunion.
well, no, I'm just focused on this book,
Yeah.
not a restaurant, but the family reunion. Yeah, that's my focus as well.
Yeah. The all right. Well, I know you're busy. I know you got stuff to do, but if you could just maybe just do a pop up in LA, so I can. So I mean, I love to. I have the book. I'm going to take some cracks at do it and expand what I can make based on your book. But I'm also lazy, and I would like to walk into a
Leave the
pop up
cooking
in
to
LA,
me.
or I'll
Just
come to
put the.
family reunion. So the reason I wanted to hesitate on family reunion, I'm on tour right now, and the name of my tour is Family Reunion.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's
And
dope.
yeah, I just love the sentiment behind it. I just, especially coming out of COVID and being isolated, I just felt like family reunion, getting together and celebrating with people that you know and people that you just are in your orbit and gathering new people in
Mm-hmm.
was just so great. And it was so cool to see your event. And this is the second one that you're doing?
Yeah, it's the second one. It's August 18th to the 22nd. You know, we're at Salamander Resort and Spa. It's a 4-day food festival,
So cool.
and we bring together like 45 of like the greatest, um, you know, Black food professionals in the
So
country.
great.
And we party and we have panel discussions and we cry and we dance.
That's so
And it's
great.
a beautiful thing.
Oh, it's so cool. And Chappelle came by the first one.
Yeah, Chappelle came by, Estelle, Angela Rye. It was
Wow.
a it was a party. It was
Oh
great.
man, how many people?
500 people.
Wow, that's cool. And was Rodney Scott there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Rodney Scott. We did a cookout, and Rodney Scott was on the grill.
Oh man, how special is he?
Oh, he's a gem. He's a
God,
gem.
he's so inspiring. He just shows up. You don't even know what he does. If you had no idea that he was this barbecue master, and he just walked into, if you just ran across him in an airport, you'd just be like, "Who's that?
Yeah,
Who's that? And why is he making me feel better?"
he's somebody. He's somebody special for sure.
Yeah. Wow, that's a great thing. Family reunion. So can people get tickets for that?
Yeah, so tickets are on sale now on the Salamander website. And yeah, it's it's a special thing, being able to celebrate Black and brown contributions to the food industry, while understanding Black foodways, and hearing from the people that have made this industry and help build it.
Yeah,
I've never been to an event like it, and then also the food is just so good.
it's so
I
great.
go to a lot of food festivals, and the food is like whatever, and this one is just, it's really phenomenal.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. That sounds so special. What is it what is it about being, both your books are Young Black Chef. What is the part that you're what is the part of being young and black in America that you're the most proud of?
um I'm proud of my culture. I'm proud of being Black. I think
Hmm.
it's I just think it's so rich in identity, and expression, and creativity,
Hmm.
and tenacity. It's something that I'm just really, really proud of. So just being Black alone, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to ask you a question, and I hope you don't take offense to it, because I always wrestle with it. Is when is it when is it cultural appropriation, and when is it pure out celebration and love? Like as a
When is
kid,
what?
when is it cultural appropriation, and when is it just loving black culture? Like as a kid,
I
I
think
grew
it's
up
it's case by case. I'll
case,
tell
yeah,
you that.
because like as a kid, I was so like into Run DMC. I was like dressing like them, and I was like,
Yeah.
my father was like loved Sly and the Family Stone, and I was
Hmm.
just like we just loved everything so much, and you would play the music and eat the food,
Hmm.
and do the and you just wanted to. More than anything, I wanted to be them,
Yeah.
and then but then there's like this line where you're like, okay, I understand like swiping people's music or profiting off of stuff, but I always feel like, but is it, I want to, I never want my deep love for the culture to be seen as something negative. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think there's a respect level that needs to happen.
Yeah.
I think if you like rap music, there's nothing wrong with that. If you grew up in the culture,
Hmm.
especially in the 80s, and late 80s, early 90s, and when rap was really getting solidified as a genre,
Hmm.
and that was your thing. I mean, I think there's something to be said when you're a part of the history, and you're
Yeah.
also doing work, right?
Right.
I think when you are just like jumping in and listening to the latest trap music,
Yeah.
and you're saying the N word, that's cultural appropriation, and you're wearing a do rag, and you have no reason to be wearing a do rag. I think that's when cultural appropriation hits in. But
Right.
if
Right.
you cut your hair short, and you were cutting it, and you were brushing your hair, and you had waves, I mean, that's a different story.
Right.
And I think same goes with food. You have
Yeah.
like Ivan Ramen. Like he spent time in in Japan,
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
learning how to make ramen popular for a very long time.
Right.
So I think I'm trying to get his full name, but I think that's when you're celebrating something.
Right.
You're not just like opening up a ramen shop because it's popular right now.
Right, right. And
you're trying to capitalize on a culture. That's when, you have culture vultures.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So that makes total sense. Yeah, because I mean, the hopeful part of your book, the hopeful part of the country is when we are sharing. It's like when we are like diving in and being like, take that person from Wisconsin and give them gumbo and let them sit and understand, what it is and the feeling and the sharing and all of that stuff is like the best parts of us is like the communication and the love that everybody gets to share. And then there's always the twisting of it. It's like all this stuff, and it seems like your mission is like uniting, which is really inspiring.
Thank you. Yeah, that's always the mission, is to unite, not to separate, because we're so much more similar than we think. And I think, racism is like one of the worst diseases to plague this world, because it dehumanizes people and removes that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, food can be a way to bring people together, and help with understanding. You can really get to know someone's culture by eating their food and sharing, and shameless plug, breaking bread with them.
That's right.
That's an important thing.
Yeah. How do people go wrong with gumbo? What's in your estimation, what's a bad gumbo?
No depth of flavor.
Uh-huh.
Either too much roux that's like burnt, or too much filet powder.
Uh-huh.
Not enough seasoning, not making their stocks from scratch.
Right.
Not using really good sausage or chicken or seafood, kind of like whatever you're making, bad rice.
Right.
So yeah, there's a lot of things where gumbo could go wrong.
Yeah. You just listed everything that could go wrong. The when I always find there's always there's two ways. Like either you talk to chefs and they're like, when I'm home, I'm just eating a peanut butter and jelly because there's food. I can't. There's just too much food in the rest of my life. Or they have a balance where they're actually at home using it to kind of experiment and move forward and stuff. What is your day to day?
Sorry. I mean, my day to day is really, I'm on the go a lot, So I'm eating out more times than I'm cooking at home. Wow. If I'm cooking at home, like I'm craving a piece of steak and I want it done properly, so I'll make that. But it's a lot of microwave popcorn and takeout.
Right.
For me.
Yeah. You're really on the road pretty hard right now.
Yeah. I'm on this book tour, which is exciting.
Yeah.
I'm also doing a lot of things. I started a nail polish line. I'm acting. I'm doing stand up. So like,
you're doing stand up?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I have a show in Chicago at the Laugh Factory on the 26th.
No way.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, the class clown survives.
I preserved the inner child. I did it.
All right, so so you're acting and you're doing stand up and you're very stylish. You've got the nails, and I know there's going to be some kind of chef clothing line in your future because you always come up with cool new stuff. How do you plan where your focus is going to go in the moment? Is it what is inspiring you at the time? Is it just I've done this, so let me move to that? How are you plotting your course right now?
It's definitely done with intention and things that inspire me. I've been wearing nail polish for a long time, so I was like, why don't I just have my own line? Right. When I want to open a restaurant, it'll be because I miss being in restaurants. Acting came about. I did a table read with a friend that wrote a script, and he was an actor, and he was like, why don't you just take some classes and like take this seriously? So, and I've always acted as a child. So it's just things I've wanted to do, and I'm definitely under the umbrella of don't label me. I want to do whatever I want to do that just makes me happy, as long as I'm not hurting anyone. Just let me do it. And people are like, oh, how can you do so many different things? I was like, I don't know. I just wake up in the morning and say I want to do something.
Right.
a lot of projects are far out, so you got to start now to be able to ever see them materialize. And the best time to do anything is now.
Yeah, no, that's great. I was talking yesterday with Judd Apatow, and I was like, he's always got so many projects going, and he said, yeah, I thought at one point that maybe I should just focus on one thing, like the way you hear some stories of someone worked on a screenplay or a movie for 6 straight years, and he said, and that always sounded cool to me. I was like, yeah, let's put everything, all my power into this one thing, and then wrote it, and then nobody wanted to make it.
Yeah.
And I realized, I need to have a bunch of things going on at the same time.
Yeah, it's so much more fun.
Yeah. So the book is right now, the main thing is we're spreading the word and getting people to pick it up. And they should also, your first book is kind of like a not as much as a tell-all but it has the energy and the excitement of a Kitchen Confidential from a different perspective. It was to see the inner workings of a chef in your own terms. People should get that book as well.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, that book, it's just a culmination of my story of how I got to where I'm at today, and I think more people need to hear the story aspect, and the journey is a reward. Life isn't a Cinderella. It's, for some it is, but for most it's not a Cinderella story, this overnight success type of thing. Although people think I've rise quickly. I've been doing things since I was 5 years old.
Yeah.
Really putting my all into things, and it just tells that story. And I think we all have a story. So I hope it encourages more people to talk about themselves and really understand that they're great.
Oh, and in that way of passing it on, by the way, what a cool thing. You started a scholarship program.
Mm-hmm.
I saw there was I think it was on your Instagram, maybe?
Yeah.
The first recipient had mentioned it.
Yep.
Tell
I
me
started a scholarship program, that puts, a student through the CIA on a full ride, even through their externship, they get housing and everything.
That's so great.
And I just wanted to create something that, I wish was there, when I was there, because I would have, that would have been very helpful for me.
Yeah. Yeah. What a cool thing. And he looked you could tell it was already, he was just stepping into it, and already he was
yeah, he's a star.
Psyched. Yeah.
He's a star.
Yeah. How do you make the selections in the process like that?
It's a essay, and I review the essays.
Oh, nice. Oh, very cool. Well, this was so great, Kwame. It was really great to meet you, and there's so much going on, and there's going to be so many projects going on. When you get to LA, we've got to
we got to link up.
Yeah, for sure. We got to come into the studio. We got to share bread, and then also maybe we can even bang out some stand-up together.
Oh, I'd love that. Let's do that.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Let's do that.
Congratulations on the book. I will tell everybody, give everybody the links to that and the family reunion.
Thank you.
When we post and stuff, and thanks for spending some time.
Thank you so much.
All right, Kwame. See you again.
Take care.
Okay.
Bye.
All right, that's the big show. Thank you to Kwame. Go get his book, My America, Recipes from a Young Black Chef. The photographs are amazing. The recipes are great. That was a really fun conversation. Go to tompapa.com, look up all of my dates. I am doing a bunch of club dates coming up in the summer as I get ready for the taping of my next special in September. So I'm going to be heading into Salt Lake City. I'm going to West Virginia. I'm going to Hawaii. New York area, Michigan, all over the place. Go to tompapa.com. Get all those tickets there. You guys are the best. See you next time.